So as you can see, my garage is getting a little bit busy. We've got the V2 Panigale that we're working on today. Over here, we've got my mate Andy's RS660, and this is almost fully functioning and back on its wheels. But for today, it's all about this. And this is probably the biggest parts haul we've ever done in this channel's history. So stay tuned. So we've got absolutely everything we're throwing at this bike. I'll thank my sponsors a little bit later as we go through these parts, but this is the biggest box in question because this cost me more than a Panigale. I could have had an $899 Panigale for the same cost as what's in this box. So you might call me mad, others might call me a genius, but let's check it out. I have got so much carbon, I don't even know where to start, but I think I've got all up 18 pieces of carbon fiber here. And for one, I just hope they sent me the right thing, but look, thank you RPM Carbon. And if you're watching this, please, please, please give me a massive discount next time because this cost me so much money. But let's start getting it unpacked. Okay, we've got an engine cover, got another engine cover, suspension cover, well, that's nice. That's the rear seat unit. That looks very, very cool. Frame cover, and I think that goes on the bottom of that, just like that. That's awesome. So let's start by getting some of this awesome carbon on the bike. I'm almost worried I've got too much carbon, but I think once you see the design and you see it painted and come to life, you'll agree it's just right. Oh my God, that is tight. So I'm just gonna try and drill this out. It's never as easy as I thought. I'm actually gonna have to unplug the O2 sensor off the exhaust, feed that back through, just so I can take this off and maybe even loosen the subframe off. One more thing off, probably $50 on eBay, if I'm lucky. So I didn't actually film the pain, but that's an absolute bitch to get on. It took me ages. So even though this rear shock's gonna be replaced pretty soon, I just wanna see how it looks with a nice carbon cover on it. So let's take this old plastic one off. Oh no, please don't strip. Oh, thank God. Okay, so we've got both side covers, frame covers, and engine covers on, and they look pretty smoking hot. We've got the rear seat tail unit on, we've got the exhaust cover on, we've got the suspension cover on, I've got the rear hugger on. So I'm pretty happy with the carbon so far. There's still a bit to go, but I've also picked up this. So it's a front lowered triple. I don't know why I said front. It's a lowered triple. It's off an 1199S, so I'm pretty sure it'll fit. I think any V2 fits the V2. Anyway, I've had to get new bearings pressed. These are not Ducati bearings, so they're not tapered like a Ducati bearing, which means I need to get the bearing races out of the actual frame. And for the life of me, it is so difficult. Like, I can't see where there's like a little recess down there where I would punch it out. So I think it's time to call in the big guns. So whilst waiting for those, I've been down to Cube Moto. If you need anything Ducati related, go to Cube Moto. I'll put a link in the description. These guys are great. They've got an OEM website and they've got a performance parts website. On top of that, they've got a Ducati race team, so they know their stuff. And I picked up a set of Spider reverse shift rear sets. So let's see if at least we can get those on while we wait for our guru to arrive. So they send you a pretty cool pack with everything all itemized, so that is cool. But, they do. Instructions. So as much as I'm a male and I love to not follow instructions, these are actually pretty handy. So, yeah. I gotta be honest, that looks pretty shit hot. Only thing I've got to do is just mount the exhaust on it, so it just goes through that same bottom bolt. I've just got to get a bolt long enough. So another job done. And that was quite fiddly, but I think it was worth it. So now we're cooking. Our triple is back with the correct bearing on it, and we've also got our new top bearing. So just there, we've got our Ducati top bearing. So we can replace this all, put it all back in. We've got some new bolts for it as well. Job done. So let me show you what we've got. And we've picked this up from one of our sponsors. We have got an awesome selection of CNC racing gear. So we've got a start-stop button. We've got left side switch gear with M&M buttons. We've got right side switch gear with integrated throttle control. We've got these things, front wheel spacers for the brakes. On the rear, we've got a new sprocket drive, and we've got a nice gold cush drive, gold on black. That's gonna go with the theme. Remember, this is a Ferrari themed bike. So the other thing I've done today is I went down and found this for $150 on Facebook Marketplace. It's an OEM rear, so that should fit nicely on the back of the bike. Right there, and that way we can have a much, much better looking tail than a race tail. So it means I've got a spare race tail sitting here. And then once all that goes on, we can try and do a mock fit up of the fairing. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. It's looking better already. However, this is pretty obviously bent. So we've got a new one of those that we've just picked up today, which is right here. So in order to put that on, we've got to strip off all of this. So this is all going to come off. You'll notice I took the remains of the steering damper off, but I've left a screw in there so I can keep that. And the beauty about these, and this is why I love these so much, and a lot of people will disagree with me, and they'll all say, go and buy something that's aftermarket, it's better. But sometimes OEM is better, and I'll show you why. When I want to align my clip-ons here, I've got a perfect little indent right there where this top nut sits into that indent in the bottom of the top triple. Now to me, that is master of design, because that is exactly where I want to be riding in that position. Okay, bar is on. Next up, switchgear. So this is the integrated switchgear, and the way this works is it actually goes where the throttle used to go. So it's the throttle actually just, I don't know why I said that, just goes into it. So into it, like that. So let's get that done. We are done. We are race buttoned up to the hilt. Now, I probably could have done it quicker, but I was watching MotoGP sprint race, so go Jorge. Actually, go Mark, to be honest, but he didn't win. Anyway, so we've got the start-stop, and that works. Brilliant. Racing Evo, love it. We've got the CNC integrated switchgear over the right-hand side here that's integrated with the throttle, and the throttle works, and we've got a throttle, the throttle spaces, say throttle 10 times fast. You can't, you just cannot do it. Anyway, and then on the left, I've got the integrated race buttons with the brake master, sorry, the clutch master, but my clutch lever is too long because by the time I put my bar end protector on here, I need a shorter one. So I'm gonna need a slightly shorter clutch thing, lever, clutch lever. Other than that, that is done. Now I'm just gonna fit this rear. That's only a couple of nuts to fit that. And then we are going to attack our fairings. Now, if you wanna get some pretty shit hot fairings for your bike, hit up Cube Moto. I'll put the link in the description. Probably not as cheap as Pro Fiber, but like the quality of the finish, wow, so much. I won't say better, but just it's going to take me less prep work, I think. That's how I'll put it. So yeah, well worth the money. Probably paid a little bit more for this build than I wanted to, just because I want some better parts on it. And it is starting to come together. So I know it doesn't look like much now, but you wait until it's painted, you wait till it's dynoed, and all the other carbon gets put on it, and all the other race parts. And I don't know if I'll get it all done in this video, but there's a lot still to go. Now normally, when I'm putting a fairing on, I would work top to bottom, and that's because you get the guidance bolt holes from here, which means you can just line these two holes up, do the drilling, put two nuts in, so put two bolts in to hold it in place, and then let it sit there whilst you start to put the sides and the bottom on, and then fix the bottom at the back. And that's pretty much the the two or three bolts you do just to hold it in place before you then clamp it all together and go and pre-drill it all. However, this new fairing doesn't have any hole markers. So I've actually got to figure out where those holes go on the fairing. So I'm actually thinking I might do this one back to front and start from the bottom up. Exactly the same way you should eat one of these. If I could open it. I'm clearly going to have to do some mods to this fairing. So you can see here it's actually touching the pipe at the back. We can't have that, so I'm going to have to cut. Like, this is a beautiful edge too. I wish I didn't have to cut it. I mean, it fits nicely here. That's cool. It's got a nice straight line there, but I'm going to have to cut this. And then again on the other side, you can see where it's touching just there. So if you have a look, this is the mount point here. It's supposed to go in that hole there. There's a difference of about an inch, maybe an inch and a bit. So I'm gonna have to cut some out of here so we can just lift it up. Otherwise this pipe is in the way. This SC project actually takes up quite a bit of space. Like if you look, if I pull it up, I'm still at least, yeah, I'm about an inch away. So I don't think I can squeeze it up anymore at the front either. It's pretty tight in there, to be honest. But so far, it looks pretty nice. So this bike is coming together awesome. We've still got the final thing to do, which is the first start, and we haven't tried starting this beast yet, so fingers crossed it actually runs, because I would hate to think I've spent this much money on a bike and all of a sudden it's just a complete lemon. We've done a few things in the last couple of days that I haven't bothered filming too much. We've got our replacement front wheel arrived, we've put our bar ends on, we've fixed up our fairings a little bit, we've fixed up our switchgear as well and just made it a little bit cleaner. We've also included a RC19S Corsa quarter from Moto Mia, so the bike is starting to look like a whole package. And now is actually the moment of truth, because we're gonna try and do a first start. I don't even know if the battery has any charge, because I put it on charge and it started flashing at me, so fingers crossed. I'll just prime the tank once or twice. And now let's see if this baby starts. That sounds awesome. How good does that sound? It sounds really throaty, like it doesn't sound like a V4 at all. It's been that long since I've had a V2 up and running, but oh, man, to have that actually start the first time is a massive bonus. So now, onwards and upwards, we can start prepping our fairing. We've still got some more parts from Moto Mia coming from CNC Racing to really bling this bike up a bit more. We've got a full suspension package coming as well from YSS and Suspensions R Us, so that'll be in the next episode. We've got to do the rear hub from CNC Racing Moto Mia, that's got to go on. And then basically we're at paint and dyno, so not much left to finish this bike. And then the next episode from us will actually be either on the BMW S1000RR or maybe even a track day this Sunday. So stay tuned, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, you know the drill.